What about when your clients need something more than that? Do you go and send them off to say, okay, well, you guys need something else, you go and find what it is and we'll help you out? Actually, you can provide advisory services to help your clients find the solutions that are right for their businesses. So rather than a lot of small businesses don't have internal resources to dedicate to looking for applications, evaluating applications, they might not necessarily understand what to look for. And so that's where you can develop some expertise and start consulting to your clients on those things. So the first thing is, if a client is considering embarking on an ERP implementation, you want them to be really clear about why they're doing that. So it might be that they want to improve the way they do things internally. They might want to offer better customer service. There can be a host of reasons why a client might be considering something more than their online accounting application. But if they're considering implementing an ERP, it's really important that they're very clear on why that is. What are they looking to get out of this implementation? I mean, these days with lots of SaaS applications, it's very easy to have a look at the market, choose an application that looks good and think, okay, we'll implement that. But if you haven't gotten clear on why you're doing it, you might end up with a great solution, but a solution to the wrong problem. So you really need to be clear about why they're doing that. And then you need to think about, is it really the system that's the issue? It could actually be that it could be staff training. It could be the system was poorly implemented in the first place. So we need to think about what possible reasons are there that we are in the situation that we are, where we're looking for a different solution. And that they can be varied. So that's all about having a conversation with the client to understand what are the underlying issues and what are we really trying to address, and is it actually the system, or could there be other factors, or is it entirely a different issue? Of course, I mean, don't need to tell accountants about budget, but a lot of clients will start off an implementation thinking, okay, they might have a bit of an idea of what they want to spend, but they might not have an idea of how much it actually is involved in implementing a system. So you need to set an expectation, a clear expectation of, you don't necessarily know at the beginning of an implementation what you need to budget, but we'll get into scoping it out later. But there needs to be an expectation that resources are going to be committed to the project, and that sort of needs to be a realistic expectation. It's very easy to, as I mentioned before, to go out and acquire an application, but if they don't have a clear understanding of what it is they need, then they won't be able to set a realistic budget. So you just need to have so that they can be have clear expectations about that. And then, do they, as well as you, have the human resources with the time and the skills? So even if you're doing the implementation, you'll be working with the client. The client still needs to dedicate time and resource to doing the implementation. So they'll need a project team, they'll need subject matter experts, they'll need people from their side to be contributing to the implementation. So you need to make sure that they have an expectation of what's going to be required of them. Oftentimes when you start an implementation, the client thinks, oh, excellent, we've brought in this consultant, they'll do all the work. Well, actually, it doesn't work like that. You've got to spend a lot of time with the client, and well, actually, they need to spend a lot of time with you to map out what are your processes. You need to do some testing of the system. There's subject matter experts that you need to bring in to speak to. So yeah, so there's going to be quite a commitment from the client side as well. So it's again making sure that they've got an expectation of what that needs to be. They might need to migrate the data. They may not need to migrate any data. But if they do, that can add a significant a chunk to the project. So that's something for them to think about. Do they have a need to migrate the data? And if they have a realistic need to do it, then it's about scoping out what does that look like, and are they prepared to commit the resource, both financially and the human resource, to get that job done, because it can be huge and very complex. Then also you need to think about the impact on stakeholders. So your clients will have their clients, and they'll also have suppliers and staff, users of the system. So we need to think about the impact on the stakeholders and the change management from all of those different stakeholders' points of view as well. And then timing. It might be that it's a seasonal business, or well, as yourselves, you know that you have particular things that you need to do at certain times of the year. So it's about making sure that we've considered maybe other projects that are happening in the client's business, and making sure that we get that timing right so that the people who are going to be affected by the change have the capacity to take it on.